the details. Join us this Sunday for All Around Britain, the show that celebrates incredible people and places from around this great country of ours. On the programme this week, we head to Norwich to meet the steeplejacks, who are 315 feet up, restoring the cathedral's weather vane. Rather them than me.
On Guernsey, we go underground to explore the island's biggest World War II bunker.
Roughly translated, it means we march towards England.
And we meet the generous farmer from Cambridgeshire who's donated land to his local community.
Plus, we'll be stepping back in time in Wales, exploring St Fagans National Museum of History.
So do join us both on Sunday at 11:55 on ITV for All Around Britain. The Midlands played a huge part in the Industrial Revolution, and in years gone by, heading down the mines was a solid career. Well, they've been defunct for decades now, but one mine at Chatterley Whitfield in Stoke-on-Trent is still standing, albeit in need of some serious TLC. Former miners are hoping to bring that part of our history back to life, as Charlotte Cross has been finding out.
In the heart of the British countryside, a glimpse back in time. From the Industrial Revolution and through 2 world wars, Chatterley Whitfield in Stoke-on-Trent fuels the nation as one of the country's largest coal mines.
I can still picture what it was like, all these pipes, you'd see steam coming out everywhere. And the noise would be horrendous. You just hear wagons clattering, everything used to be working.
Generations of miners like Henry left their mark on the landscape here. Not only in the buildings still standing, but in the very shape of the land itself.
This chimney is a landmark in Stoke-on-Trent, and at 250 feet tall, it can be seen for miles around. Now, it connects to this mine shaft that you can see behind me here, and to put it into context, you can fit 8 of those chimneys down that shaft before you'd hit the bottom. And that's a journey that miners here would have to make every single morning. Were you ever nervous going down there?
No, not really. It was a bit, I'd say, eerie at first, but after a few days you just rode it. It was really good, yeah. And they used to kid you, hadn't they? You know, the old ones, oh, we haven't had one of these ropes snapping a good while, you know. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, yeah.
The buildings have been left to crumble over the years, and it's no longer safe to venture inside. But despite the ravages of weather and time, you can still catch a peek of what life was like for workers here decades ago.
Now, this wheel at the top of the mine shaft is what would lift the miners up from the pit at the end of their shift. You can see there are some wires coming off it. It was controlled by one man, and he sat in that green chair. It's still there, and we can see it through the broken window of the Hesketh building. Now, his job was so important that once he was in that chair, he wasn't allowed to leave. Not for lunch breaks, not for bathroom breaks either.
In fact, he had to keep a chamber pot next to his chair for when the need struck. And once a week, his wife was allowed in to bring him his Sunday lunch. Production here ended in 1977. Now, the constant din of machinery and trains is just a memory. And trees and weeds grow where the miners once walked.
It's depressing really, because I can remember when all the buildings looked really great. None of the trees are sticking out of the buildings or anything like that. It's been overgrown, and it's a shame really that it's been allowed to get into this condition.
But hopefully not for much longer. Many former miners have now joined forces as the Friends of Chatterley Whitfield. They want to help clear the site back up, to allow visitors to immerse themselves in its history. For Jack, there's a personal side to the project too. He worked in the mines for 40 years, including in rescue and recovery, when things went wrong.
The memorial behind me now is for 234 miners killed at this particular colliery, Whitfield. But in this area, there's been almost 5,000 miners killed in the North Staffs area.
Was anyone you know amongst the people who died?
Quite a few, yeah. Yeah. But it was to be expected as a miner, and I've been involved in a few accidents myself, so it's just a thing what you have to get on with, you know.
Despite its battered appearance, Chatterley Whitfield is more than just a rusted relic of days gone by. Careers were built here, friendships were made, and lives were lost. And it's one of only a handful of deep mines which have survived, giving us here today precious insight into the hard work and sacrifice of our ancestors.
Fascinating insight there. Now, it is practically the weekend. Here's the weather forecast from Amanda.